and welcome to a brand new vlog, and the last time you will be seeing this room. Tomorrow, I go for my in-person. Alright, so here we are sitting at the end of a big step. The online portion of my program has now concluded. I am on my midterm break now until March 2nd. But in between now and then, there's going to be some big changes. Because of how hands-on my program is, we can't do everything online. We've done as much as we can online, but now not only are there things that we have to be able to do and demonstrate, we also have to learn some new skills at the same time. Or I guess master some of the skills that we've started to learn at the same time. It's not really learning new skills, there isn't time for that. What's next and how are my feelings on it? So starting on March 2nd, I will be in person in my program. And basically each day is a little bit different. There's, I think, 4 different labs. So we have a continuation of our community lab. We have a continuation of the hospital lab. And then we have both of the sterile and non-sterile compounding lab that all requires different competencies and different skills to be assessed. So they kind of rotate in between all of them. There's no really 2 days that are the same, and days are quite long in this schedule. The next few days is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot on me physically, and it's going to be a lot on me probably emotionally as well. I have to be quite honest with you. I do not feel the same way going back for this as I did with university. So there's a lot of equanimity, there's a lot of peace that I'm feeling with this, and I really believe in the case of this. The reason why that is because this is where I'm meant to be. There's been the same amount of equanimity with the fact that I finished work yesterday. I thought it was going to be a lot more emotional. I seem very much at peace with the whole thing. Now, some of it might not have hit yet about what that exactly means and how that chapter has come to an end and a new one is starting. Ultimately, the story is the story, but it doesn't make it any less emotional. And the reason why you're even in the situation is because you were in a different situation, which is my case. So I started off as a cashier at this company, and then I moved into the pharmacy. I worked at the pharmacy for probably about a year before I was like, I think this might be the thing for me. Like, I was really enjoying it. There were, of course, there's things about every job that, you know, you don't enjoy. But for the most part, I've always asked this particular question when it comes to like finding a career. And this wasn't even really answered with biochemistry, but it was the thing that I was the most positioned for in university. And it was the thing that I enjoyed the most out of the path that I chose. Wasn't just quite the right path, but I've used a lot of it now, so I still don't feel like that was a waste of time or money. There was a position that opened up, and I was able to transfer into the pharmacy. And when I transferred, I wasn't aware of how much I would actually be helping the pharmacists and technicians with the stuff that they do all of the time. I assumed that it would be like stocking the OTC pharmacy stuff, and that's not what it was. It was like you get to help count out medications and take care of some of the back end stuff. I did a lot of stuff with particularly inventory with my job. So I received the order and put the order away every day and that kind of stuff. I enjoyed that and I do miss it, and I will miss it if I don't have to do it as part of my job. But there's a lot of things that open up for technicians, and I've shared a little bit about that, but I'm going to talk about it here too, just so you guys don't need to go back and find that. So technicians and assistants are quite similar, but technicians have liability in Saskatchewan. So they have their own malpractice insurance, and they can do a lot of things. So technicians can be the final check. If a pharmacist has done the clinical check at some point in the workflow, a technician is allowed to check it. Technicians can also take verbal orders from doctors for most medications. There's exceptions, but for most medications, a technician can actually take a verbal order. So this is where a doctor calls in a prescription to the pharmacy, and they give all of the required legal information, and that's what's used as the copy of the prescription. The other things a technician can do is they can be involved as the sterile compounding supervisor. So this is where they set up the sterile compounding master formulation records. They determine how to make a compound that the pharmacy has never made before. Now, pharmacy and compounding, certain pharmacies can only make very limited amount of compounds because of the equipment and techniques that you need to be able to make compounds. I don't think I've talked a lot about that, but it's because I'm still learning about it myself. Because when it comes to the back end of that stuff, I was just basically given a sheet that was already done with different quantities, and then I made the particular thing. But when you are the sterile compounding supervisor, you have to actually take all of those and make the master formulation record of that. So that's like the thing that they use to as like a overall for the recipe, and then actually setting it up is usually done by the technician as well if they're involved with that. Kind of how it gets to that point where an assistant might be able to help with it is stuff that I've had to learn because it was already done for me. I felt like the best thing to do was to go to school for it because I really enjoy being in the back. And there is a little bit of a concern, I would say, that in X number amount of years, you will be required to have some type of schooling to be working in the back of the pharmacy. And I didn't want to have that get in the way of me being able to make a full career out of it. So I'm actually of the opinion that I think even assistants should be given a certain amount of education just so that they know what they're doing and not being, pushed into there blindly and have. I don't know about other people, but I really do think that the more you understand about why you're doing something, and not just told that you're supposed to do it and that's what we have to do it because of laws or regulations. I think having that understanding yourself and go, oh yeah, that makes sense due to this kind of thing is really important actually. And I think it's something that I definitely think should be pushed for. Now, a lot of people are like me, and we don't know that we actually like the pharmacy until we get a chance to try it. So that might actually limit people as well. So there are some negative sides to having that kind of an approach. But either that or you take the middle road where you can take people off the street, but if they want to be working in the pharmacy, they have to take either something through the company to be able to be like shown as competent, or they have to take a certain course, which I think for the most part, a lot of companies would be able to afford to do that. Some of the pharmacies may not, though. So you'd have to figure out how you're going to do that. But it does help understanding the laws and regulations and why you're doing things rather than just being told, oh, you have to do this and no further explanation. Like, that's where it's been nice to understand the why. But then again, my biochemistry degree was like that. So it makes a lot of sense as to why it would be like that. As I was saying, I don't know if this is really hit yet, which is why I'm not as emotional as I thought, or I'm just so much at peace with it right now that there just aren't any emotions coming up. Now I have to finish packing because I have 8 weeks in person, and we say saying weeks makes it sound shorter, but it's 2 months, so it's quite a while. So yeah, there's going to be very different videos coming up. I'm going to be doing probably a tour of the place I'm going to be staying in. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the in-person. I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to show just because I'm not sure how comfortable I'm gonna feel. So I'm hoping to be able to give a chance to talk about how it's going and all of that. I just don't know how much I'm gonna actually show at school, and if anything is shown, it's gonna be through my phone. I hope you guys have enjoyed the online version. I know this isn't probably the video you were expecting. I was hoping to do more vlogging this week, but I just didn't have the time. I was like this trying to get all of the stuff done for my pre-lab for my one course, because the idea is that we did it this week, got it as correct as possible. We were kind of showing that we could do it for the in-person and be prepared for the in-person. And so because of the like all I could do, because I'm working with like technical fake patient names and Kroll and all of that, I've been very strict from the start of making my videos that I simulate pharmacy as much as I can. And with that, I can only show my face. Like when I'm working, I can't show any screens in that case because it would technically be a privacy violation in the real world. So I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, well, time lapse of that is kind of boring. Like it's like I was working on another lab, so I can't really show that because it's got like what would be patient identifiers and a non-simulation. The one thing I do want to say though is my math quiz this week gave me a boost of confidence for sure. I'm hoping I can actually somewhat mimic how I performed in the quiz this week in my midterm and all of that. Just it gives me confidence that I'm on the right track with understanding the concepts. I really don't know what I plan on filming really from here on out. I don't know what I'm gonna be comfortable with filming. I really don't know really what to expect with this. I'm not sure along the same lines. I probably will post more shorts next week just because I'm gonna have more time, at least for the most part. I also don't know what my internet connection is. How good it's actually gonna be, I'm not sure. If you are enjoying watching my journey and all of that, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and if you feel inclined to do so, leave a comment on your thoughts, and I hope to see you guys again in the next one. We'll be in a brand new spot if that's the case. So, again, thanks for watching, and bye for now.